Pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes agenda. I'll second it. Bill, second by Terry to approve the minutes agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Jerry.
Thank you. This morning, I also brought one of our Board of Directors members, Lionel Foster, and Sandy Jackson, who heads up our Lifelong Links Department, just because we really want to say thank you for your continued support. I've brought the annual report along with the county page for you. Again, I want to reinforce the importance of what the counties give us. Those are dollars that we can use to look at for other funding, quite honestly. So this last year, we used county dollars and went out and received a grant from the Agency for Community Living to do benefit enrollment checkups. And what it allowed us to do is we were able to get a piece of software that our options counselors can interview the senior citizens sitting there, and it will tell us every program of assistance they're eligible for. And not only that, we can help them with the enrollment forms right there, rather than that senior having to go fill out a food assistance form, a LIHEAP form. We can help them with it all in one stop. So I think that was a really important program that we've introduced this year. Again, trying to become a one-stop shop for that senior citizen. So, congregate meals. I did do a little investigation because the Bison Senior Center congregate meals are considerably cheaper than anyone else's. And the reason for that is that at that place, the site manager serves as both the site manager and the cook. So there are no cook wages at Buffalo Center. And then at Lake Mills, they're a little bit higher because they're charged a little more for the facility, was what I found.
You know how much they charge?
I can email that to you. I didn't write it down. So that was what I investigated because I was looking at it, and I know that's always a question that comes up. I'm trying to get a little better at being prepared when I come to see you. So, do you have any questions for me? Again, we so appreciate your support. We really do.
You know who you deal with there?
I don't. Next year I'll print those.
I'll find out.
Okay, next year I'll print all those budgets off and bring them with me.
What's your wife?
You know, some of our sites get charged for utilities, some of our sites don't. Some of our sites get charged a fee for garbage, some of our sites don't. You know, we work with subcontractors, and so it's basically what that subcontractor works out with the senior center or whatever facility they're in. But again, I think that Elder Bridge continues to be we work to be a good steward of your funds. Last year, we were able to provide about $24 worth of services for every dollar you gave us. So I do think we give you a good return.
Going back to the comment, homemaker services for public health and personal care.
Mm-hmm. Why do we subcontract with them?
Yeah.
They write to us and ask for additional funding. It helps them with their match if we fund part of their services, because I believe Winnebago County Public Health also gets some federal dollars as well as county dollars. So they're one of our subcontractors to provide homemaker and personal care in this county because Elder Bridge does not provide those services directly. So I will get some more information to you, Mr. Stensrud, on those meal site budgets. Are there any other questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have a good day. CSS funding.
I just put this on the agenda because I received a request from County Social Services for money, $240,000 approximately for the first request and another $187,000 for the second request.
186,870.
It is 186,999.50.
So they want a total of 3,426.
Yeah, something like that.
So, and this constitutes, the amended budget last year,
Well,
or?
this would be basically just the levy dollars for this year.
Whatever became of the last year's request?
You guys told me not to pay it, so we didn't pay it.
Okay, and we're still waiting to hear on arbitration, how,
Roger can't talk to me about it yet until it's finalized. So, as soon as we find out what their arbitration, how that went, then we'll discuss our options then. So in the meantime, are we still dealing with them? Since we're not, got turned on by the other group, this group. Yeah, actually, I believe they are gonna allow 3 counties. There's one county, Lyon County is leaving the group that we wanted to go to. And they're gonna band together with 2 other counties that were with, Woodbury, Sioux, and Plymouth, is it? And they wanted to get away from, Woodbury, where Sioux City is. But they wanted, so those 3 counties are gonna be allowed to do their own region. I guess is the way I understand it. They're gonna change something. So in theory, Worth, Winnebago, and Cassuth left in their intent to withdraw letters. Hancock, Ron Spurs voted against it, but Hancock voted to withdraw their letter of withdrawal, which they have until the 15th of November to resubmit it. What do they want to? So in theory, we've got a meeting coming up with Jan, because it'll be at our, it's be December something, to discuss our options then.
that's after November 15th deadline.
Yeah, so Hancock has got it.
Well, if they allow those 3 counties to form a new one, doesn't that set a precedent for us?
But if they allow, I think they've applied.
Well, the way I understand it, sounds, I read something on it that, sounds like it's gonna be an option.
Because Lyon is separate geographically from, I think, Sioux.
Well, they have contiguous border, do they? I believe so.
That one article talked about.
Well, unless they're gonna get rid of the continuous border thing, which they should do that too. Nobody's made a viable map. Because we leave CSS, it doesn't mean that Emmett County should have to go too. It's not there. As far as the levy dollars go,
Yeah, Lyon and Sewer.
yeah, so that's Lyon, Sioux, Plymouth, right? Woodbury, I believe. So,
There's a very over not like that.
Lyon will be going into Maine, Woodbury.
which, and in that same, newspaper article that I read from over there, also said in there that they decided not to take us until the financial problems are, they still, in theory, want us to come there if we want to do that. But if they're gonna,
We have to meet the criteria. Cassuth has to meet the criteria before we can.
yes, Cassuth has to get their arbitration finalized and then,
But, yeah,
it sounds like they still have a positive, they didn't want Lion to leave, but they also, in that article, this Bill, what's his last name? He's the chairman of their board. And he said that, that he was sad to see Lion go, but he understands why they, you know, I mean, he's very, very reasonable.
I think that article was from Spencer, wasn't it?
They could have been.
So, beyond that, so for this request is for our levy dollars.
Yep.
And that's for this year.
And I, you know, I was under the, until they did what they did to Sandy, I would have said, pay the $1,000. So I'm not gonna argue that, it's the fund balance. Yeah. The spending spree is the fund balance. That's what I have most concern with.
Where we want to be at.
So Cerro Gordo, they got, they withdrew their application for down there, which it didn't sound like it was gonna pass, they were gonna have a split vote. And, they're still looking for something too, because they, the Jody Draper's ex-CFO of CSS was very upset over a whole string of provable lies or mistruths, however you want to say it.
It comes back, if that's the case, then why don't we take action?
Well, I think it's the start with her. Possibly Sandy.
What are our options when you challenge the state on something like this? Can we challenge the state?
Challenge the actual legislation that
Yeah.
requires.
Here's my problem with the legislation. They have double legislation. One says if you already have a current relationship with a region, you can stay with that region. The next one came and it's a temporary legislation. It expires and you have until so date to do this. Should that supersede to eternity the rules in there, because it says you have to be continuous.
That the temporary legislation says
Yes.
that?
And that's why if we go, Emmett has to go with us because they're isolated at that point.
When does the temporary legislation end?
We have until January or something if it's done, or next fiscal year, or something we have to come together.
Well, it sounded like to me that, or even when I get back from I this is the temporary legislation. It's not necessarily gonna be temporary, yes. But I'm getting mixed signals on that.
They said, to make it sound like you can't do this next year. You have to do it this year. One time only.
And my argument is nobody should be forced to do business with someone.
Well, that gets back to what I asked you. What options, do we have an option of taking action against the state on something like this?
Like, as far as litigation, your options would be very
Well,
limited, but as far as.
forcing them to make a decision, say,
Well, that would-
non-Uber.
We're already doing that by withdrawing. We've forced them to take action. We're gonna have to do something with our three county deal.
The state or region two,
Our CSS region. No, we're withdrawing from CSS.
Right.
They're gonna have no control over it. The state is gonna have to put us somewhere,
oh,
is where the legislation reads, or allow us for our region.
okay.
And I was,
So what would be
So
the
as far
process
as-
of doing that then?
Of forcing what Billy's talking
Yeah.
about?
We don't do doing, it's happening.
That, yeah, I
It
was
is
gonna say,
happening.
that's my understanding.
Our withdrawal and their acceptance of our letters of withdrawal starts the process.
Okay. Say they did accept ours.
The CSS board passed.
Okay.
So as far as changing legislation, you do it just like anybody else. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to lobby your legislators.
No, yeah.
We did it once, we could probably do it again.
Right.
Word, and I know Hancock is not happy. I don't know why the other two decided to stay where they were at, but Ron tried to talk them out of it, but they voted him down. So the three counties for sure were pursued the Winnebago. I mean, I assume you guys are on board.
Yeah, absolutely. But couldn't you use, and here I have a kindergarten knowledge of this. Home rule, can't you use that to challenge the state legislature?
It's a lot more complicated than that. You don't have to, if it's unconstitutional or something like that, there's ways to.
Well,
To challenge
basically, it's taxation without representation.
And I'm not sure how you do that as a government entity. I would have to look at what the rules, I mean, your rules are different as a government entity than a private person trying to challenge legislation. So,
Well, what did it do about the almost 500,000?
If we wanted to,
I would just as soon wait until after I hear what the arbitration is to make that decision. But, you know, as far as just the levy dollars go, I never had a good problem paying the levy until the Sandy thing came. And that was a complete and total hit job on her. I mean, this guy, the questions he was going around asking other supervisors and stuff just points that he was a pro CSS, pro Bob Lincoln plant to get in there and do PR work to help Bob save his job, as far as I'm concerned. Because the buck stops with, he has got so many stories out there, and he just laid another whopper blaming the financial situation on Jody Draper. And she called other county county auditors that had the numbers on it and proved him wrong. That he was a bald-faced lie.
she could be suing him probably for.
It wasn't on the agenda to be talked about. It was in a meeting, violation of open meetings laws, and they slandered her in there, and he threw her, and then he went and told all the Saragordo County CSS employees that he's talking to Jody to work this out. He had never talked to her once. So,
But originally, this all came to fruition because we were not getting the services for the amount of money we put in. So do we
or
want?
he wouldn't even let us see the numbers. We may not even have been overly upset with him if he did, you know. But when he started withholding the numbers from us, that made me suspect of how we were being represented with our tax dollars and how much was being spent on our people compared to how much is being sent.
And he still hasn't given you the numbers.
He has given us several different versions of that.
So,
What if we took action against him, the region? Can we do that?
the county take action against CSS.
Us individually, because of what he just said, the misrepresentation and the,
But because
You say you guys privately,
say that again.
you talk about his supervisors, as a
or,
group,
yeah, what are you talking?
Right, yep.
or actually,
I mean, if it's
And I'm
the
sure-
supervisors
I
from the
thought
county.
it
I shouldn't speak for Worth, but I'm pretty sure Worth would go along.
I'm guessing that Kasuth would also. I can't speak for any of them in a sense, but that would be my guess.
What kind of action are you talking about against CSS?
Well, I guess one thing, to get an audit, to see where we really stand. We're kind of acting in the dark here. We really don't know.
They've had, they have a state audit every year, just like we do.
but I think it has to be.
But it's not a forensic.
No.
Audit. I mean, is there any misappropriating of funds? Probably not, would be my guess. Is there, a lot of Bob Lincoln's, projects, being funded by a lot of other people's money? I believe so.
Well, that's just it, and that's what I'd like to get to the bottom of is, because if that's the case, then they're not using our tax dollars wisely. And
He went to that meeting over in Saragordo County and told Saragordo County that they need to get Chris Watts off of that board. So now he's starting to dictate to who's gonna be on the board, trying to do that.
I guess I'd like to know the options
Okay.
we have.
Against CSS specifically.
Yeah,
As managed.
You know, I mean, it's.
For potentially misappropriating funds, or,
No, I don't think there's.
okay,
He's probably covered his tracks.
It's just,
is it hard to call for a forensic audit?
I have no idea.
all
I
the
mean, I think
people,
you would need to contact your state people for that.
all the people that have been in the mental health industry for years see a waste of money on a lot of his projects. We're spending literally millions of dollars on new employees rather than getting it to the people where it needs to help. I mean, we've got this great infrastructure, and now the money is staying up there. It's not being funneled down to where it's needed.
Kinda like that guy that was hired to do the investigation that ultimately ended up with Sandy's firing.
Oh.
All of a sudden, now he's full-time.
Yeah, he's there all the time. He's calling the shots.
The whole thing just smells terrible. And
He's
we're
got-
kinda left in the dark on making decisions here.
Well, and another thing is, you know, I have not read it yet, but I have to, I've got it. I've got to see. I've talked to Joey on the phone many times, but I've got to see exactly what the letter for attorney sent to CSS.
So maybe she would like to get in on it with us. I mean, that should be investigated.
She's going somewhere without this. I mean, but yeah, that's just gonna start, we'll ride the coattails of that. Because if she can prove everything she can prove, then it's gonna make everything look much clearer for us. As far as we're gonna have support for what we've been suspect of.
Even if we were able to, say, change administration in the CSS, it's still not a good deal for us to be in a 22-county region.
You know, after I read that 2080, I would have never signed it. I would have never signed it, especially the line that says that you give them your fund balance. You know, it should be used. I mean, it's one of those things you have to do. I mean, it has to be spent on mental health. It's not like I wanna take it and put it somewhere else, but we also could have used the fund balance, spent it down like the region over there. They lowered their levy, spent the fund balance down to what the state, because the state, they changed the legislation where if you had fund balance above 20%, if you didn't get rid of it by 2020, they were gonna take it from you.
Okay, getting back to, do we wanna send any money to them?
I wanna wait until after,
I can make a motion to table this.
But here's the deal, I have a claim, so I have a duty to pay it. So unless you make a motion telling me not to pay it today, I am paying this claim. I have a duty to pay it in my office. So you have to tell me not to if you don't want me to.
So, withdraw my motion to table.
I'll make a motion to pay,
All of it?
no, the levy, not the fund balance request.
So the first and second request for this year.
526,
So the request includes part of it. Or I mean, the fund balance.
It does, so you want me to just pay the levy amount?
Yes,
that sounds reasonable.
yes. You not have a problem with us paying what we signed to pay. I mean, in the 2080s, we complain about fund balance too, but, there have been, he has allowed other counties to spend down their fund balance differently.
See, that's why I want an audit, because we're all getting treated differently.
He's, behind the scenes, he doesn't offer it to everybody. He selectively,
Right.
and Kasuth is one of them. And if he's gonna make that deal for one, he should be making that deal for everybody. Our percentage of the budget is like 1.7%, but our percentage of the fund balance is 4, almost 5%, something like that.
They're not equal. They're not balanced. No, it's like an ending fund balance in any fund, you know.
Everybody has a different fund balance.
We put in 360 or 370,000 a year or something like that, is our levy. And the fund balance is money that we have got in our Fund 10 that is collected over the years because we've always evidently spent less than we levied. And there's, the better part of $500,000 in that fund balance. And instead of spending it down with the levies, Bob has gone on a spending spree of green projects.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Bill, seconded by Terry to pay the levy for CSS region. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
The fund balance is what will be in play for the mediation.
Dean has access to that.
The fund balance?
Yeah.
You can't get it without us writing a check.
Do we currently have representation vote?
Board? No, I believe that's suspended. So.
See, that's another thing to look into.
Well, and if I recall,
It's in the 28.
it is, and I talked with Todd Holmes over in Kasuth County about that issue early on. And I think he had done a little bit of research, and I'm speaking on his behalf, which I probably shouldn't do, but I think he determined that they could suspend the voting rights, but they can't suspend our services.
Yes, they cannot legally suspend services. We don't have to pay a penny and stuff to take care of it. Which isn't, I don't believe it.
But yeah, it is in the 2080.
Well, if they can't suspend services, should we put paying them on hold?
We did.
No, I'm talking the motion we just made.
Yeah, they can't suspend services to people.
And since there's so much
A state. The only reason I decided to withhold the levy, other than the fund balance, was because of what he did say. And all the people who have been there for years disagree with the direction that he wants to take things and where he's putting money. So therefore, he has to get rid of those people. And that was my decision.
You know how much that figure's gonna be.
Not off the top of my head. It's gonna be something close to what those two numbers I gave you, but
Really?
Now, is that the whole year's levy?
yes.
It'd be the second request from last year, the first request for this year, is that what it is?
No, it's the first two for this year.
First two for this year.
How many requests will it be?
3. The third request is always fund balance.
Oh.
And we did not pay that
So
last
did we
year.
receive all the levy monies?
We have not yet received all of the money.
So why should we give all our levy monies we haven't got to them? We're trying to get all this money.
Usually they wait to do the first request, like now, and then they do a second request in like January and a third request like in June. But this year they needed the money, so they did the first request in July,
Because
second
Sam
request now.
stepped into oblivion.
According to Bob.
She approves funding requests, that is true. She
Well,
approves-
you're our rep, so do you think we should just stick with the motion we made and go for it?
I don't have a problem with paying the fund balance.
What?
the levy.
Alright.
Some people are getting trade services.
So, my question is, for this year then, I think we should request that we get, after we pay this, we should be able to get our vote back. Whether you want it or not.
Well, they have it one more month.
No.
Well, no, yeah, I guess the fiscal year is
Fiscal.
through June, I guess. I'll trade you. Okay. That's taken care of. Flex,
Okay, we got two quotes for our flex plan. One is from Midwest Group Benefits. They charge $475 for a person. There's a one-time, an initial fee of $250 and then $250 a year after that. The other one is from EBS and they charge $525 a person with no additional fees.
What was the first one?
Midwest benefits.
So Midwest Group Benefits, and it's $475 per person, and they won't take less than $50. So if you only have 10 people that participate, you would have to pay the $50, whether it's,
And then what was the other company?
the other one is $525, but there's no additional
What
fees.
company was that?
EBS. And then Midwest Group Benefits has an annual fee of $250. And EBS has no additional fees.
Any preference?
EBS is a lot cheaper, and they've done a fine job.
it's cheap and they're doing a good job. It's pretty straightforward.
I'll make a motion to move forward with, EPS as our flex administrator, or what do you call it?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Like Terry said, it would Bill to approve EBS as our flex manager, administrator. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Scott?
Yeah, still, I got to get here. The library, are they coming? They're here.
Oh, they are,
Okay,
okay.
we're allowed in.
You want them in?
Yeah, please.
Sorry, Scott.
No. Carla, that EBS would look identical then, going forward, is it that? No?
That's what we have now.
It's my first.
Support.
I'll go through this though. Oh, yeah, I'll hand out the papers. Go through this.
I just got some information for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
You guys are up.
Now, to do the talking.
I handed them out already.
Oh, great. Well, we're here to request funding for next year. And I guess we're pretty proud of our 5 libraries. And well, first of all, I'm gonna brag about Lake Mills Library because she probably won't. She had 90 kids at a decorate your haunted house the other night.
Last
That's
night.
amazing.
It's amazing.
No wonder, how are you
Yes.
even here? Yeah, so that was a really
extra special program. I planned for 50. I had 90. It was craziness, but it was great. They loved it. They check out books afterwards. I mean, getting the people in the library is half the battle. So getting those younger families there, so we get lifelong library users is great. And you can see 70% of Winnebago County residents almost have a library card. I think that's a great statistic. That's not something you can say about everything that the county uses or provides money for. So, yeah.
Well, I just mentioned to Terry and Bill, if they heard any talk, they both said it's, the feedback we get from the public is positive. So,
It's to us, it's kind of one of those essential parts of the budget that we feel like needs to continue.
Yeah, I'd sure hate to see any library close in the county,
yeah.
because we're all vital and, share resources.
Oh, I don't get in much, but.
No, but hey,
Where do you splash your library card?
We like to see them no matter where we go.
Oh, they've got audio.
and picture books.
And books with no words.
I don't have any questions. I fully expect that we funding, so I don't know why we wouldn't.
That's wonderful. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate all the programs all the libraries been putting out there. I see a lot of, doing a lot of good.
We just had one with 42 people in our meeting room. And that was to capacity. I was so happy and so pleased that day. And I still have people telling me how much they enjoyed that program.
Yeah, we had one on Saturday, and of course, we don't have a lot of room, but we had about 16 people on Ray Hunt's beekeeping, and they talked for 2 hours. The questions were just like fantastic about the bees. And then they had it's not a cage, but anyway, the bees were in there, and they were just so active you could just hear them in there. And then all of us tasted fresh honey off the honeycomb, and so
And see what busy little bees are all about.
yeah. Well, Kelly had sent me a email. What time could they come set up? And I said, well, whatever time you want to come. Started at 11. And she said, is it okay if I bring 500,000 bees? And I said, no. I said, you need to bring 5,001. 500,001 and an EpiPen. Just in case.
Well, Krista has our request, I guess, and
Yep.
if we don't have any other questions, you can do your next business.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for what
Yes,
you do.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Come to the library.
Thank you.
Now back to you.
Did I leave a contract under my payroll staff there?
Yeah.
Quick update on projects. We have the 2 smaller projects going north of the homeschool house there, and one kind of halfway between Leland and Lake Mills. H17W and J15W both are open. The guys are currently working on the K19W out west of 4 City Ways. And other than that, the guys are mowing, blading, and spotting rock, kind of starting to work on, getting everything ready for winter, I guess you'd say. That's all I got.
I have nothing.
Talked about those potholes last week, and by the time I got back that afternoon, they were already.
I saw that. I didn't even have to.
Boys at the secondary roads did a good job.
I checked right when I got back, and he'd been there that morning. So
Yeah, so it was already at the works.
things that take care of themselves. Those are the best
Is
guys.
it against the rules if I go out and scoop a little off of the sides and throw it into the holes again? Cause you know how it is, they loose and it gets packed. And it just
Yeah,
starts
you're
to-
moving. No, I guess. not on that scale of things.
All right.
It doesn't need the right of way.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm not gonna shovel it up, take my driveway.
Yeah, put it in a bucket, take it to your own driveway, don't do that.
Out here, the south end of 150th, where it does a little S-curve before Fort City,
South end of 150th.
it turns into 155th, I think. It's just a mile out of town on Blacktop, you go north, and then
Yep.
it does a little S-turns. Had a lot of complaints in the water on the road there. It's one thing when the fields don't drain, but it's another thing when it starts to deteriorate the road. They've requested to have the ditch cleaned out there to make sure it does drain, but it's not. And now the road's starting to get soft. And
Okay.
so it's not just drainage in the field anymore. It's also the road's challenge.
Sunrise Drive. Just right there, kind of north of where the pavement changes to gravel.
If you go out,
Right.
if you go out on, what would it be, 842 out here,
Yeah.
and you get to the first corner that goes north,
Oh, yeah.
and it does an S to end up on 150th, it's down on that curve.
Yeah, and I think that, what I understand, there's a old pump system that used to kind of drain
For
that
the
area.
field.
And,
That's a private pump system for
Yeah.
the field.
private, and I don't understand it doesn't get running anymore.
Well, they've got it in CRP. And the question is, why doesn't the ditch do the drainage there for the road?
Not perfectly familiar with how it runs out there, but I think that there's just standing water on both sides of the road there. I don't know that it has any really good outlet.
Yeah. So right here, the creek crosses right there. And this won't drain in this direction towards the creek. It's a natural creek.
Okay. We can look at it, but but what I know of it is there, pump system is there, which leads me to believe that it's, supposed to be on CRP, means supposed to be pretty marshy, but, if there's a point where it can't get to the creek or something like that.
Paid for him to spend the electricity to pump it out when he's trying to farm it.
Yeah, may be the case, yeah.
But it seems like it'd be fairly simple for the county to actually clean the ditch so that it would actually drain the road. We don't have to worry about the farmer's fields, but just.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, we should look into it.
Okay, anything else? Let's go on to the DOT agreement.
So this is a funding agreement for a bridge replacement project that we have planned to bid January of 2020. It's a funding agreement with the state to receive swap funding, so state funding, 100% for the construction of the bridge project. Expect it'll be, summer of 2020. This bridge is on the north side of Grant Township, section 34.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for the county bridge, federal aid, in Grant Township.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by myself, second by Terry, to approve the DOT agreement. County bridge, federal aid swap, Grant Township. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So public hearing.
We got a 9:45.
Set this real quick.
I told you, did I ever tell you?
I do not, it was sometime in November.
November 20th,
I think that is right.
if we get it to the paper tomorrow. Yep. And we can use them.
So that's on the 20th. Is there specifics with this, or just equipment, or?
Equipment for our vehicles, yeah, computers and whatnot.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for the sheriff's department for the purchase of equipment for November 20th at 9:05.
I'll second it. Motion by Terry, second by Bill to set the public hearing for Sheriff's Department purchase of equipment at 9:05, November 20th. Any questions? I have a question. Why doesn't that fall under your budget?
Because, when I talked to Carl about it, because she said because of the cost, it's gonna have to, it's gonna take a while.
Because we're gonna not pay it all in 1 year, we're gonna pay it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, resolution approving central disposal systems planning area.
So. Kelsey looked at this and she said it was okay.
That's good enough, Jim?
But on the flip side of that, are we still, on Monday or Tuesday of next week, Kelsey and I are going to talk to Todd Hartman from, Waste Management, Central Disposal, whatever, about the contract that we had regarding tonnage fees and them paying the county tonnage fees. So we're gonna discuss that again, and hopefully we can get a contract set up for that again. Yeah, so it's.
And it was, I know when I started, it was like 60 or 65. Is this a time-sensitive thing? They have to have it done at a certain time? Or?
That, not that I know of, but
Are you looking at the plan? Is that the plan you're reading?
the resolution that,
It's basically like they did a study, so we have to have the waste reduction plan. They did a study that there were 7 responses, it looked like, and they put together that plan of how we're gonna reduce waste and increase recycling.
I went to one of the public forums on it. Must have been 4 years ago. They do this every 4 years. They're trying to encourage the public to do more recycling and whatnot.
That might count. From 2011 to 2018, other than a little bit, I guess it went up slightly in 16 and 17, but the trend has been, tonnage has been down.
Well, that only tells you what they're taking into their landfill for all over. And the recycling area they're talking about is more local.
Does that affect them adversely if the tonnage is going down? You know? Their
Does it
company-
affect central disposal systems
Yeah.
adversely? I'm not sure because I don't know what benefits
Actually-
we get.
they get points for recycling, so if people recycle, they get more points. So if the people put it in the landfill, they get deductions.
So it's to their advantage.
So they want people to
I'm
recycle.
guessing all of their comprehensive plan area is only the garbage and recycling. Any of the garbage that comes out of the cities or whatever, that probably isn't included in the numbers.
That's probably true.
So I just wonder, do we want to table this until we can have some conversations?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna suggest,
this would be totally separate though from what Carla's talking about with the tonnage fee,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Yeah.
Totally separate.
But it might be a negotiating tool.
I was just gonna say, I hate to sign it before we decided, agreement is right.
Okay,
I just hate the rubber stamps.
we'll go back
Can
to
I have that back though, so that,
Is that available digitally?
I think so, I can send it to you.
Right, thanks.
Sure.
Cost Advisory Services report.
And then there's a letter to you.
Yeah. Can't we just do it all the same?
I think the book. What would be included for supervisors besides his office? With closes the second half of paradise.
I don't know if they have it.
Funds appreciation for the building for 1,600. Treasurer's 5,000.
It's for square footage, and
So that's how they figure it.
I don't think so.
If you go to Civic, it talks about the square footage.
difference in this is the DHS part of it. The CSS part is 4% of basically these numbers, plus like $2,000 for administration to my office. Off the top of my head.
Any idea why they put depreciation in here? It really shouldn't matter to a tax attendant.
I don't know, it has something to do with their formula that they do to put this all together. I'm not an actuary, so I can't really tell you, but
I just find it interesting because it really has no effect on us.
I'll make a motion to approve the cost of value services report.
I'll second. Motion by Terry, second by Bill to approve the cost advisory services report. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
those one things.
You need these back?
Well, you want them, you can have them. If you want it, you can take it, if not, I'll give it to Sandy.
Then I know where to find it.
Oh, that one too. This isn't here, so.
This one is.
It's one you just hand it that way or.
No, there's two of them.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't want it, I'll give it to DHS, the one for DHS.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
All right.
She's not here.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, I got a lot of open.
Hey, who's Dennis Sayron?
Days Aaron, worked out in Winnebago, retired out there, had his own business, retired from that. He's a Marine Corps Vietnam veteran.
He's going to be amazing.
Yeah, he is.
American Legion director or whatever.
We'll take it serious.
Very.
What's Missy gonna do?
Dennis goes down south for part of the year, so, we're gonna have two people who work in the office so that there's somebody there all the time. They're each gonna work approximately 15 to 20 hours, and so it should just be, they'll work as a team.
All right, driveway appeal.
I put this on the agenda, I had the property owner call me, or actually I ran into him. He had just come to the engineer's office, and he wasn't upset, but concerned over, what our current rules state. The maximum width for a driveway is 45 feet. And he had widened his, not knowing that, he's at the top of a hill, and he has large equipment that goes in and out of his driveway, and he felt 45 feet was not enough. He didn't know that he was supposed to get a permit to do this. He was gonna pare it back like he was told to do. But he also, what he was saying, he would have been here, but he texted me this morning that he just got swamped this morning, just can't make it in. If we need to call him, we can. But the gist of it is, he's got a whole bunch of trucks coming in, the elevator brake is gonna be dropped down there to crush. He does crushing of concrete. So these trucks will be bringing in all this concrete to be crushed. I told him, it sounds like you've got a commercial business going out there. He said, effectively, yeah, that's what it is. It's not just an acreage for storage. He tries to keep it clean, storing less desirable stuff in the back, and he does his crushing kind of in the middle. So I guess what he would like to see is if we could give him a variance on the rules, to give him at least 65 foot instead of 45 foot.
So heavy traffic besides him, besides his business.
The road itself, you mean? It says like 45 vehicles a day, which is pretty medium for a gravel road. Pretty well in line.
It's the mile right next to the Cummins. West of Cummins. A lot of towns on the gravel road to the west.
Concern with it?
Just background from me, we were made aware of this driveway. It's about 100 feet wide right now, which is, over double what the policy allows, which is 45 feet. 45 feet is the criteria we use for, every other driveway other than, a site plan or commercial business submitted case-by-case basis. Offhand, I can think of like Rembrandt would be an example of that. Just for your information, that's a 50-foot wide driveway. Of course, they're on a blacktop, so they got a little more turning space. Look to see if we are consistent with the DOT, and their maximum is 30 feet, and if there's higher traffic going in and out, up to 45 feet, so it'd be consistent there. I did see what he said. He has a 80-foot conveyor, which is, I believe, would be the most difficult thing to get in there. 45-foot driveway would be wide enough to get the conveyor in there. Just put that on some truck turning software to see, and that should go in there just fine. Trucks who didn't see each other and meeting on the driveway might have some conflicts, but it's at the very top of the hill, so any trucks leaving the site would be able to see well in advance any truck coming in, so they should be able to just, stop short of the driveway a little bit and allow the other truck to come in. You shouldn't have any trouble making that. So, I don't have any issues other than it doesn't appear to be necessary in order for his operations to work, and he hasn't shown me otherwise. When I talked to him when I talked to him last, whenever that was, Friday, he said he'd have it corrected and didn't seem to have too much objection to it, other than he wasn't aware of the permit process, and it's already done, so it's something he has to go back and fix.
What does it hurt as far as secondary roads and maintaining?
Yeah, I would say
snow removal and stuff. Does it create a problem?
in general, the symptoms of wider driveways can be snow drifting in the winter. They can be longer culvert to maintain some minor economical things like that.
That would be his.
Overall,
most of the snow is gonna blow.
yeah, in his case, that's not what I've told him. All I've said is that 45 is what we use for everybody else, and that's the fair and customary way to enforce this one. I guess we've had several people ask if they could go for wider driveways, and so I think in general, a lot of people would want wider driveways, but above all else, they want to be treated with the same set of rules and treated fairly. So,
I guess from my logical thinking, which probably is illogical, what difference does it make if it's 45 or 90? I don't understand that.
I can give you one case, there's our old bid site, and it's a problem. You have a gate going in and a gate going out. It's after the top of the hill, as it starts going down, and the water starts eroding there, and it is a problem. It's not something we can change now, we don't own it anymore, but it's always been a problem because of the erosion on the edge of the road.
That's gonna be a problem here.
But I'm talking about here, you're on the crown of the hill, and there is no erosion there because it's pretty flat at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And there's no culvert because it's the top of the hill.
Yeah.
one of the other things pointed out in the DOT's policy is if it's wider than it needs to be, sometimes you'll get erratic driving behavior just because it's wide enough where you can fly in there going 40 miles
So
an
it's
hour.
primarily a safety issue?
I would say it's primarily a consistency, fairness issue in terms of the policy that I have to work with.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, why can't our policy be, on a need basis, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Why is it a policy and not
Yeah.
just a judgment?
Yeah.
And it's changed, you said back in '98 or something.
That's when the resolution was approved. I'm not sure what they had before then. I would say in general, it's because one guy has a case where it may not bother. The next guy has a case where it would bother. It could be a case like the Ben site he's talking about. And so says, how come he gets a 60-foot driveway and I don't? And then it's our staff on the hook saying our judgment, and they say, well, I don't believe in that. Whereas if you set a policy, then everybody's treated fairly and they don't have, they can't claim that one person's being treated differently than the other.
And I think it should be, on a case, I mean, if it doesn't create a problem. I mean, had he built it knowing that he could not build it, like the other driveway we had out here, where he knowingly built it in spite of your office, I had a problem with that one. But this one here doesn't sound like it's that, and I can't see that it's really gonna be why waste his time and money taking it back out if it isn't gonna hurt anything?
Well, I guess another thing I don't understand is, I understand where you're coming from, but you can lay the blame back on the supervisors if they come to you. And if there wasn't, if this was gonna be a rigid rule of 45 feet, then there wouldn't be an option for us to give a variance. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I would say the variance would typically be reserved for plans that show that trucks, require that space. And in this case, it doesn't appear to be the case. There'd be no special exception other than the fact that it's already in and it's a nuisance to have to go in and tear it out. The only difference is, in my opinion.
Pulling a 45-foot conveyor would be like 80-foot conveyor. I know it's tough to get in some driveways with a 50-foot auger. Big hole, etc. I mean, what it does is it would kind of make it, like, if he probably pulls it himself, but if you've got a rookie driver pulling something in there, then you know the room they can get. I've seen guys flip trailers over in 45-foot driveways.
Yeah, seen bad drivers do all kinds of things.
So I talked to some farmers.
Yeah.
And, I'm just gonna ask farmers what their thoughts. And of course, farmers with like a, half-mile long driveway. But beyond that, they said, farm equipment's gotten bigger. In and out of driveways, just as a countywide policy, we need to think about this, that maybe 45 1982, my father bought one of the first 24-row planters in the county, and we ended up dumping it in the ditch because the driveway was too narrow and the road was too narrow to make that swing. It swings around behind. Some of that equipment just doesn't follow you like it should. And so I think we need to either change the policy or be able to allow for a variance for people other than Rembrandts and things like that.
I mean, if it's something that's needed, in this case, it's maybe not quite needed to be that big, but something is an honest mistake.
When you say not that big, you mean 100 foot you got now? Or
Yeah, I'm guessing 100 foot, that's, even I could get a truck in that.
Beyond that, I know there are other driveways in the county that are over 100 foot long at the top of the hill that are barn driveways, and they work wonderful because they can park the trucks in the driveway for loading. In the winter, they don't get as much mud on the road.
The whole fertilizer around, because sometimes you get on a hilltop and there is no ditch. You can actually drive into the field for, 100 feet because the ditch has hardly got a. That's what happens naturally too, in a sense.
So the width of the road to me kind of dictates what the width of the driveway should be too.
Well, what should dictate the width of the driveway is what is necessary to get the equipment in and out of there. You know, it's depending on the use of the land. In this case, he's got crushing equipment, he's got, hauling equipment, whatever. I think it's fair to say that whatever it takes to get that equipment in and out is fair for him to have as a driveway. And I guess we've looked at that already. So, and if we're approving widened driveways based on criteria other than what is necessary for the equipment, then I'm not sure it won't be very easy for us to enforce that policy, and you'll be seeing a lot of driveway permits in front of you. I mean, I think we have over 100 open right now. They come and go pretty quickly. And right now it's a fairly straightforward process for the farmer to come to our office and get approval the same day or the next day.
Well, there's been a lot of driveways going on, with all the dirt, free dirt, and then getting that haul up the sides.
Okay, aside from the policy of 45 feet, is it your contention that you should make a driveway just for what you need and not future use, or I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. If it's not a safety concern, and it's well, for lack of better word, other parameters, why not change the policies to 60 feet? If it's not a safety concern.
I would say probably pick that number as a balancing act, where the wider the driveway, the better chances it could have to cause problems in certain situations, in certain instances. But 45 is a pretty wide, liberal amount for me to blanketly say that's allowed. And, any wider, we'd have to be more scrutinizing and intervene to say, I know our policy says 60 feet, but in this case, we don't think that's appropriate, and then we'll have those objections.
I think you probably list several ways that wide of a driver might even make things safer too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not familiar with the driveway roads.
I didn't get a chance to actually drive by it, but I pulled it up on satellite photo of it. It's a little overkill probably, but sorry.
I mean, he has an excavator sitting there. He's used to it.
Well, Scott has a point, and I agree with you. We should try as much as possible to stay consistent. But I mean, there's a clause in there for variances for stuff like this. I mean,
I'll let you take the lead on this one. It's your district.
it all, I mean, yeah, had he come and got a permit that said he can only have 45 foot, he did come to get the variance first or whatever, that would be different, then I would say no. But in this case, if it's an honest mistake, I'd say that I see that it's gonna be a problem.
Bill, second by Jerry to allow the variance for the address.
Cleaner property.
Cleaner property. Yes, give the exact, 10379 420th Street. Any discussion? Weigh in anymore?
I've said my piece. I would, I guess, recommend against it.
Well, and I offered Scott, would it be easier to change our rules, or is it easier to do an appeal based on each one? And he recommended that this is better way to do it, so that's what I would do. Because if it's not possible by appeal, I would probably push for 65.
If I heard one of the guys that said with the roads maintainers or whatever, that said it was a problem, then I may not support it, but if it's something probably, I can't see how it would be. You just blade the snow up into his property and he gets to take care
I
of
don't think, if the driveway was higher than the road, it might be a different case too. I don't think it is. I think it is just a little lower than the road. Not much.
Now I'm gonna catch flack from Steve Nelson. We made him take his property out.
Yeah, but he did it in spite of his office. That's the only reason I would have given him the variance, because I think there was minimal risk to the public with that driveway. But the fact that he did not bring it before us first, to get his variance, I'd have given his variance if he'd have come to us. But means he decided to take it on his own.
It's the old line, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Well, no, yeah, if we allow people to say, hey, build it and they'll approve it, then we can't have that, and in this case, in a sense, but you gotta assume that it's an honest mistake. He said he didn't know he needed a permit for it.
And I don't know if this property is gonna end up being, taxed as commercial or not, how that changes. He's actually brushing out there,
Well, all right, and he's trying to create some jobs, he said about that, it's possible.
So all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right. So everything now,
Alright, you just gotta sign this stuff.
A cornfield, you gotta go do, or something like that.
yeah.
No.
I'm the only guy, so. Well, my nephew is, but he works for it.
Yeah.
Here, you want to pass those forms down to Mike and Andy under your agenda?
Oh, yeah.
When I looked at the agenda, I didn't get back this 10 o'clock when we take.
What do you want?
Opposed?
I'm winning.
One flip there? It's like imaginary coin flips.
Yeah, I'm winning. I'm just thinking things through before I write up stuff. It's kind of revealing when you see things from a different direction.
As far as. You don't have to.
You know, I think I'll just keep it to myself. I've got a lot of people in the background doing a lot of background work. Some people already know about it, and some people don't. And what people that know about it are finding out is very revealing. So, stay healthy, boys.
You do.
I didn't realize there was so much investigation to it directly.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I've got another note, this one coming from the state. I'll shoot that off to you. All right. See y'all later.
See ya. We'll be right back.
Sure.
We'll be here.
Okay.
We're on the edge of our seats.
Hope the people that watch the YouTube video know that every time I look at the camera, it's yeah, clock.
Oh, yeah. Did you want to show me a pretty face? Eight reach until 1 o'clock last two nights.
Get close.
That would be done already if the combine didn't keep breaking. So still only working in the corner.
What's he running for a combine?
2388. He just got it. He had 1660. He did that all. Fixed about everything you could fix on it. Pretty solid combine. But this one, I mean, golly, it tells you the moisture, it tells you the current moisture, the average moisture, the yield, the current yield, the average yield. I mean, and you can set each field, so you know what I mean, that part of it is. We just have to go through the same steps we did at the 1660, you know, because you can't afford the new one. So there'll be some repairs, which the combine itself wasn't too bad. It's been the heads that have been no problem. You got two heads from place. It's got to rebuild some money, so they feel better. It pulls loose all over them.
Did it chop it too, or
What's that?
is it a chopper?
No, it's not chopper.
A lot of those this year, the chopper stocks, chopping heads.
That chopping head is nice, it's really, really expensive for 9 inches.
So it's
The guy
stock
that
chopper.
Wait, no, yeah, the stock chopper's easier to fix and less expensive to fix. But that chopper, I mean, it saves a lot of time, because you don't have a man on a tractor, and tied up chopping stops. They're nice, except for when you get the used ones that you can afford, they usually go down hard. Gotta wait for the
And he'll drive to Fort City, but he likes it, so he'll drive it.
I hadn't heard that he couldn't, I just want to come out, I'm hoping he could.
He's got a appointment this next month that will determine whether he can. His reports from his eye doctor in Mason City have been good. Just has to have a shot every month.
Yes, a shot every month in his eyes.
For his neck, he can get ready.
Oh, really?
It keeps it from deteriorating. He was going farther and farther. Did pretty good.
Certain things, nutrition, too, that can come from that, have they ever
Oh,
looked
yeah.
at that at all?
Yeah. Got medication too. Takes preservation. That's expensive.
Too much coffee this morning. Oh, God, oh, my back. All that climbing up and in and out of stuff. Oh,
Yeah, I've been working at my house, I know.
oh, yeah, yeah. It just makes you tired. And then when you only get to sleep for 4 hours, you don't do much good.
was coming right back and then I got distracted, so. Oh, shoot, okay.
So we have a motion by Derby.
I am making the motion. I figured no sense in making the motion until we discuss. Except the payroll claims.
Alrighty then. We got them all signed.
I think so.
Well, if they're not, we'll find you next week.
That's my intention. My dad's been asking. Didn't know, so nothing's crossed their desk. Missy is a nurse.
Well, she only works there like as needed now. So she's a nurse someplace else, but I think I'm not sure if she does a lot of time. Someone else in there.
But she is a nurse, right? At that age, her something, one of them is gonna be a nurse. So I made the motion to accept the payroll.
Okay, I'll second it.
Good to have your support.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. As Mr. Martin says,